and welcome to a very special video on an original Fender Broadcaster. In the year 1948, the World Health Organization is established, the Berlin Airlift begins, and Alice Cooper is born. And all of that pales into comparison at the birth of the Fender Broadcaster. It was a simple design, an ashwood body, a transparent blonde nitrocellulose finish, and a bolt-on maple neck, making it really easy for repairing. At its conception, the Broadcaster was supposed to be more affordable than other contemporary guitars of the time, and they were also very lightweight, which added to their appeal and playability. However, Gretsch forced a name change due to one of their drum kits being called Broadcaster. So for a certain amount of time, the guitar wasn't even called the Broadcaster, leading to the name Nocaster due to no name appearing on the guitar. However, with the advent of television, the name Telecaster soon became bolted onto it, and it's now the guitar that we know and love. But before that, we had the Broadcaster, and that is what we've got here to show for you today. According to the information that we've got, this is a 1950 Broadcaster, with the previous owner buying it in 1969 in Colorado. It was apparently in very poor condition at the time, with the frets being worn down to basically nothing, the Broadcaster transfer being completely scraped off, and the finish had started to flake and come off, which is a well-known and common issue with early Fenders. In January 1973, it was sent off to the Fender factory for a refret, a refinish, the Broadcaster transfer being replaced, along with rewiring and the pots being replaced, though the pickups are still original. There is also an additional screw hole in the body from when there was a new pickguard attached, although that has now then been replaced again with a more contemporary of the time pickguard, though it is not the original scratch plate. Well, you might be asking, how do we know all this? Well, we have the full history of the guitar, plus receipts. Literally. According to the information that we have, during its stay with Fender, it was sent off to a photo shoot for Rolling Stone magazine, appearing next to a contemporary 72 Telecaster for comparison. After its substantially long stay of 6 months with Fender, it was eventually returned back to the customer, who then set about refinishing the body as, quote, to cover up scratches and scrapes. Obviously, this then results in the guitar not being in its original finish. So what does this guitar sound like, and in a modern context? When you watch a video on an old guitar like this, you expect to hear playing of a certain kind. Well, you're not going to really get that here. What I want to do is play this guitar with more of a modern interpretation, and because I can't really play that sort of stuff. Me personally, I like big, chunky riffs with a lot of fuzz and just weird noises overall. So if you're here for some shredding, this sadly isn't the video for you. What we've done here is arrange a number of amps to put the guitar through, with the idea of it being going through decades in time, roughly. What we have here is a Fender Bassman, a Fender Twin Reverb, a Kitty Hawk, a Marshall JCM 800 with a 1960 A cab, and a Messer Triple Crown. So what we're going to do is just put the guitar through all of these amps and see which one that we seem to enjoy the most, and then go from there. Before we put the guitar through the amp, we all kind of expected the Triple Grand to be the best amp and the best sounding overall, because it's literally one of our favourite amps in the entire shop. So imagine our surprise that after the test had been done, everyone who works here all kind of agreed that the Basement was the better pairing. Now, it might be that it's, you know, an old guitar for an old style amp, or that it's just a better pairing overall. We don't know, but it did sound the best in the room. But we do invite you to say down in the comments which one you thought was better. So what I'd like to do now is introduce some pedals, mostly for me because I just like having loads of pedals, loads of sounds, and lots of toys to play with. So what we're looking at here is a Digitech Ricochet, an Ibanez Overdrive, which is more like a fuzz if you ask me, an MXR Super Badass Fuzz, a OnePlus Slow Distortion, a Boss Metal Core, and then some delay and reverb just for character. This is with no particular song, sound, or vision in mind. It's just throw some crazy effects in there and see what this thing can keep up with. That a lot of people don't really like playing with pedals, and that I might get absolutely slaughtered in the comments for putting this guitar through pedals and sounds like that. So what we're going to do now is take away all those pedals, put it through one amp, and go through the standard sort of sounds: clean, crunch, distortion, and maybe more. Nothing crazy, no pedals, no strange harmonizers and big muff sounds, nothing like that. We're just going to hear what this guitar can do through a pretty flat sounding amp. So what does it do? So that was a pretty quick look at an original Fender Broadcaster. We've been more than a bit lucky to get our hands on a piece of history like this. Me, myself, personally, I'm a huge Telecaster fan, so I've enjoyed being able to play this a lot. It's been a lot of fun to get up close and personal with it, see what makes it tick, to open it up and see what old guitars like this really kind of look like and how it survived all this long. Yes, it's not completely original, as we've said, the big one being that refinish that the original owner had back in '73. But it's still the original piece of wood, so it's survived all this long, and we expect it here at Fair Deal to go a whole lot longer. I've also enjoyed playing not necessarily the normal thing that you see or hear played on a guitar demo, especially for a guitar like this. I don't really enjoy and don't know how to play those sorts of things. I much like playing what I know. We're all different, and I like to think that it shows how versatile the concept of the guitar is, and I'm a big fan, as I've said, a big fan of the Telecaster, and I believe it is one of the most versatile guitars out there. And I hope that this demonstration has kind of shown that, from the cleans right up to the distortion sounds, that it can keep up with and do anything. And as an original guitar from 1950, nothing's changed about it more or less, and it can still do those things. So if you are just starting out playing the guitar, any guitar can really do anything. It's really how you go about playing it. And if you like the aesthetics, well, that's also a big plus. If you do want to find out more about this guitar, do get in touch with us to get an up-close view of this Broadcaster. But in the meantime, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.